The Z to Z Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Brandon Fream, and thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming, and in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining Gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. If it's about achievements, we'll unlock it. This week's show, we talk about Red Dead Redemption 2 and Darksiders 3, and some community questions about the zombie apocalypse. Some boosts gone awry, and we break down our U.S. Titanfall progress. You're shaking in your boots, I know it, UKers. So you can find show notes for this show, as well as previous shows, on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 73. You can also contact us with questions and comments on Twitter, at Z2Z, Z-E-D-T-O-Z-E-D, over at our forums, forum.z2z.com, or email us directly, contact@z2z.com. Today's show is brought to you by the achievement Mother Puss Bucket in the game Ghostbusters video game. This achievement was chosen to remind everyone that Mother's Day is this upcoming Sunday, if you live in the United States, and listen to this week's podcast the week that it airs. Honor those wonderful women in your life. Now, the achievement is earned by upgrading your slime gun, and it's going to cost you $20,000 in-game to get the 4 upgrades required. Special thanks to developer Terminal Reality and publisher Atari. And if you, our fantastic listeners, have a suggestion for an achievement sponsor, let us know. Twitter and email are the best, but you can come chat with us over at our community in Discord, discord.me/Z2Z. So let's get this show started with an introduction of my co-host for the week. All right, guys, it's another wonderful Podcast Friday. We're so glad to be back on the air. I am joined today by Proulx. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Fantastic, thank you. And we've got Randy this week. How are you doing, Randy?
Yeah.
Just fine? All right. Well, hey, you know what? How about you tell me...
Let's not misinterpret that as fine. Okay.
I thought the inflection in your overly amplified sigh was, a little bit more excitable.
Fair enough.
Maybe I can spurn you into some discussion by asking you what your win of the week was.
Well, my win of the week was actually tonight. So this week I've been playing a ton of stuff. I've been busy, and I've got a little hooked on the RuneScape, but we'll get into that. This week, though, I did boot up Oblivion.
Woohoo!
And I think I've talked about Oblivion before, which is one of those games that I don't think it's a bad game, and it's because it's really not. I mean, especially for the time, it was very good. It's just not really my kind of game, like, at all. And I bought it years ago. I think I started it in, I want to say 07. Let's see. Maybe 08. Yes, the end of 07. And I basically didn't play it since. I had a couple of friends that were over at my house play here and there and pop an achievement or two, but that's it. So tonight, and it was motivated by the random to-do list, tonight I got an achievement in Oblivion.
Nice.
I also got a very cool, not supposed to be in the game weapon. Because there's a funny little glitch with one of the DLC packs that if you delete it when you're in a certain area, it will stick you in a test area that you can't normally access. Okay. And in that test area is a weapon that is a test weapon, and one hit kills everything I've encountered so far. So that will make the game a lot easier.
Did you know about that going into it?
Yes. Yeah. So I had heard about this glitch before, and I'd forgotten about it, and it took me a really long time to be able to find it again, actually, because I forgot what the name of it was, and I forget what the name of it is now off the top of my head. But yeah. So what you do is you get the I think it's, what was it, the Wizard's Tower, Magic Tower DLC or something. It's like $2, and then you go to this tower, and you go to the spot in the tower and then delete it, load your save. It'll warn you that content is missing, and then you'll be in this little test village.
It's bizarre.
It's super weird, and there's just a few houses, and then there's just nothing as far as you can see. Like, it's just a big field with some weird floaty things in the background. And so there's this mace just laying on the ground. It's a mace, but it's classified in the game as a sword, which is weird. It's super weird. And then you get like, there's this house that if you touch like the Oblivion stone thing, whatever they're called,
Sigil stone. And then they will infinitely spawn in your inventory and like over encumber you to infinity if you don't pause. So what you have to do is you have to drop a whole bunch of them and then just like walk toward this door that's floating in the air, just like a step, and then you'll have to drop a bunch again and then walk toward the door. And eventually you can escape and have a whole bunch of sigil stones in your inventory, which I have now. So
you're over encumbered with sigil stones, or you stopped
not
it in
anymore.
time?
I had to drop some, but I've got plenty. Let's say I've got way more than I'm ever supposed to have. So.
Do you think that's going to take away from your experience in the game, or are you looking forward to not having to deal with anything?
I'm looking forward to I just want to get it done. I mean, it's a game that, and it's not a game that I just played for like 2 hours and then put down and never came back to. It was a game that I gave it probably 10 or 15 hours, and I just really didn't like it.
Not your cup of tea, huh?
It just wasn't my kind of game. So now these kind of glitches, and that's why it was worth it to me to buy that deal. I bought the DLC pack just to try that glitch out, and it was worth it to me to buy that just so I can kind of get through this game and not, have it sitting there staring at me forever.
We're not talking about horse armor, are we?
We're not talking. I did look at horse armor though. Just it's funny. Horse armor is down to $2 now, and I almost kind of wanted to buy it just because it's like one day it'll disappear, and then, well, I don't know, maybe not. It's backwards compatible now, so that'll extend its life a lot more.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of one of those things. Like horse armor is so significant to a lot of people that played a lot of games in that time before DLC was a thing, before cosmetic add-ons were a thing.
Right.
So I kind of looked at it for $2. It was kind of like, man, I almost want to just have that on my account just because it's significant. And then I was like, no, it's a waste of $2.
The series is so important to me, Randy, that I actually pre-ordered the horse armor.
Oh.
That's a joke, by the way. I didn't actually pre-order horse armor, but
yeah.
So
I would hope so.
Proulx, what did you end up having for your win of the week?
This is actually a pretty significant win. Myself, Weasel Pizza, Matriarch, and Big Al off and on for months now, seemingly. Tuesday nights.
You got this one.
Yes. This week we finally got Endure, the Vidmaster challenge in Halo 3 ODST.
I saw a bunch of screenshots from you guys.
It was very exciting. It was very exciting because something always seemed to go wrong, whether it was, the game would there would be too much lag, or the connection would drop, or whatever, or we just, lose a bunch of lives in the beginning. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. We kind of had to push him into a corner. So we would do as little damage as possible.
You just stick him in the elevator?
No. Actually, at the end, it worked out really well. We all did a lot of teamwork, and we got a little bit better every time, and a little bit better every time, and we were getting to the end here, and our lives situation was quite healthy. But then we got to the end, and I'm like, oh my god, are we going to do this, or is something terrible going to happen? And it just went smoothly. It went smoothly. It was like we actually knew what we were doing, and we got Endure, and it was probably the most the most accomplished feeling I've had from an achievement in a long time. Because it's been so long that we've been trying to go for this. So that is definitely my win of the week, without a doubt.
That's awesome. Well, congrats on that action. Mine, so, actually I didn't do a ton of gaming this week. I did my normal things, but I've been having now with baseball and just life getting busy, I've been getting up a lot earlier. So I don't.
How is that possible for you to get up earlier?
That's just it, right? I mean, it's It's not easy. Let's put it that way. So what I ended up doing this week and I had mentioned it at the end of last show, but I am particularly proud of, and I was going to go into it a little bit more here, but the Destiny Wrath of Machine, the heroic achievement, because Crandy, you called me out. You said just get it done with, right?
Exactly. And, you play so much Destiny, you've got all this Destiny experience, and you haven't completed Destiny.
Yeah. So, that has enticed me to go back and finish this thing up. And it just so happened, and I mentioned on the last show about on Tuesday is the refresh when the new the vendors change what they're holding. And I'm still missing 3 of these sigils, and I had done everything to unlock one of the sigils. And so I was waiting to see what was the refresh was. Well, it turns out she has 2 of my 3. And so I traded one in, so I got one of them. But now I need to redo the quest this week so that I can get the other one that I'm missing. And then hopefully that third one, whenever that shows up, I can do that. But as far as the actual achievement goes, now you do not have to beat the entire raid. I've beaten the raid before, only on normal, but I went to one of my favorite websites in terms of finding parties for Destiny is the100.io. So THE100.io. And it's an awesome group. It's like our community, right? Just a bunch of awesome dudes, but this happens to be particularly focused on Destiny, although they do have other games that they claim. But I've only met cool people on there, which is great. And so you can do a little search function, and I just happened to be cruising through, and someone's like, "Hey, I'm on Axis Part 2, right? He's the final boss of the raid. Just looking for 6 people to help out. Let's finish this thing up." It's like, perfect. That's exactly what I need to do. You do not have to play any of the raid. All you have to do is find a checkpoint with that final boss and go ahead and just finish it off. Now, I will admit, Axis Part 2 is it can be difficult. There's some fun mechanics involved, but there's a lot of communication, and really that's where the game shines, and I've talked about it before, but it is a wonderful synergy of working together as a team and coming to getting the timing right, having great communication and all that. It is very rewarding. And so having a group of randoms, right? That's effectively what they all are. A group of 6 people completely have never met before to synergistically come together and be able to coordinate this massive attack on a boss in an hour is awesome. Yes, granted, we all knew what we were doing, but you still have to communicate between the 3 different sides of the left, right, middle. You have to do the timing, all sorts of stuff like that. Those of you who are out there, because there was a few comments before about, hey, Destiny, is it worth it? It's dirt cheap now because, the game is done, right? It's over. There is some of the best content in here. Now, you lose some of the luster of not, you just follow on people's shoulders and not do the raid for yourself, or, you miss some of that exploration type thing. But as far as just mechanics and everything, it is just wonderful, guys. So my win of the week, I wanted to kind of elaborate a little bit more on that game and finishing out that raid. It was great. As per usual, it is the end of the month. It's been the end of the month. We're well into May right now. So just a quick reminder for all of you to get your achievements and stuff posted for any of the contests. It's pretty much. I'm usually pretty good about closing this thing out, so it might be closed by the time you get this, but it's a great opportunity to go look for what is up in May. And obviously stay tuned after we say goodbye to. I will go through the list of ongoing contests at Z2Z, and so that you don't miss a darn thing. Let's just quick touch on some news topics and things, and then move into customer. We don't have customers. We have we have fans, listener feedback. I'm all discombobulated today. I want to start with this, Randy, because this is right up your alley. Of course, it is E3 season. We are about we are about a month away, and so as we've grown accustomed in the gaming industry, many of the developers don't want to lose their messaging, certainly the big ones, don't want to lose any of their messaging during the pandemonium that is E3, when so much news comes out, new footage, trailers, everything, that they want to get some of their own marketing push, and so there are a lot of game announcements.
I hear a lot of those studios have leaky pipes, though.
Super leaky. But they...
especially around E3.
They have set up, so obviously we just got the launch trailer and stuff for Call of Duty WWII. I think that's what that is, right? It doesn't stand for anything, does it?
No.
Nah.
We got Destiny 2, obviously. We kind of talked about that. And not to be outdone, and of course, we still don't have any new news on this, but Red Dead Redemption 2, remember that was announced back in October? I mean, that's like 6 months ago. But we are gearing up for certainly a lot more announcements here in the near future. Maybe E3, I don't know, Rockstar doesn't really like to do E3, but Randy, why don't you go and try to buy this game? It doesn't exist, right? I mean, you know that it doesn't exist yet.
Red Dead 2?
Red Dead Redemption 2. Because it is sold out on Amazon right now.
Really?
Now, they won't even let you pre-order it because it's sold out. I don't get that.
What?
You cannot go onto Amazon and hit the pre-order button because they have reached their limit of, I guess, what the number of games they're getting. I'm confused by this.
To me, that's not a thing. I mean, look at this. You make a game, you sell it for $60. It costs you probably, I don't know, to press at the factory. It probably costs like a couple bucks to press a disc. They're not going to let it sell out.
They can't, right?
You know what? I'm calling it now. It's a marketing ploy.
I mean, they got all this placeholder garbage here. Maybe I'm gonna try to buy it right now. I got Amazon Prime. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna add it to my cart. We're gonna see if I can get it to ship to my house tomorrow. Oh, look at that! Not in stock. But anyway, yeah. So I'm floored by. I mean, presumably they're not going to turn off like, hey, no, you know what? We don't want you to pre-order anymore. There's just far too much excitement for this game.
Yeah, there's no way.
That's not right.
Maybe it's not coming out when they said.
That's possible. I mean, they could have done a South Park and had to delay it, and then
it is a Rockstar game. They'll do their own thing, won't they?
Because that's the thing is like there's very little like, me being cynical and all. There's not a lot of things that I think are like really quality titles anymore, but like South Park and Rockstar are like the two that still are.
Yeah.
So like if somewhere is going to do it, seems like it'd be Rockstar.
Also, we don't know a lot about it yet. I mean, maybe they
don't know anything about it.
Yeah, so
if it's needed, and that's the thing, and like they're not just going to delay it just cause, but if it needs to be delayed for whatever reason, like that's going to be the studio that does it.
Yeah. Now I will say the Xbox One version you can still order. This is the PS4 version.
Oh, okay, so it really is sold out,
quote unquote sold out.
Yeah,
they have whatever their allotted pre-order numbers were. You got to think a company like Amazon is going to be like, hey, you know what? Sorry, but the 45 copies that you said we could have, I'm going to need a little bit more because there's 50 million PlayStation 4s out there. Can I just have 50 million copies? Because pretty much everyone's going to buy this game. How many has GTA 5 sold? Yeah, I need that many.
8 trillion, I think, at this point.
My thinking is probably like it just hit whatever Amazon's like pre-order threshold is, and then it just defaults to sold out or whatever.
Maybe
that's exactly what I'm thinking. There's no way they know, like, even Rockstar knows like what they're going to press at this point. Like, this is so early on. It's probably just hit some artificial limit they put in their system, And they're until we get more information, that's just going to sit there like that.
Yeah.
That just seems weird, though, doesn't it? I mean, of any game
really,
that is going to be so
think about it.
Received.
People have been talking about this game for so long. Like, you know, and the Rockstar's last big game was GTA 5, which came out, 2013 originally?
Yes.
Which is a lot. I mean, that's a long time between games, which is good because that means they're going to be good. But at the same time, you know, it gets people talking, especially with how good GTA 5 was. So I would bet that this game is probably going to be one of the best-selling games ever.
Totally agree.
Like, period. I bet it will outsell Call of Duty. It will outsell Battlefield. It will outsell Star Wars. It will outsell everything.
As ridiculous as that bet sounds...
Everybody plays. Like,
I mean,
that is a game.
It sounds like hyperbole from your standpoint, but I can't go against you on that bet because I totally agree. Yeah. Like, the safe money is it will be the best-selling game of all time.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the best, probably the best game, easily the best game that year, and probably the best game until the best game that is released until Rockstar's next game comes out.
Wow, that is a thing to say.
Because really, like, looking at a game like GTA 5, even on the Xbox One, it was a port with better graphics. Like, that's probably the best game that I own.
Can we? I don't know Red Dead's sales numbers versus GTA 4 or GTA 5. Obviously, it's not as much as GTA 5, but I don't know. To me, I don't know those numbers. My instinct is that GTA will always sell higher than basically anything else.
I tend to agree.
GTA probably has more appeal than Red Dead. That's fair.
I agree with that.
Red Dead was so many people played Red Dead though. Like even my friends that didn't really play games, like, all had Red Dead on either PS whatever or Xbox.
Yeah.
PS3, I guess, because it was not out on PS4. But I mean, yeah, it sold a lot, and it was one of those games that even fairly casual people knew about and played. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe saying now
Grand Theft Auto 5 was 75 million, and
according to, again, Wikipedia, so, you know, whatever, from as of February 2017, Red Dead Redemption has shipped 15 million units.
So
that's not a lot.
No.
But the game did come out in August of 2011.
Well, and think about it too. I mean, you're looking at
that's not even when it came out.
30 something million Xbox 360s, right? Probably about the same PlayStations.
So between May of 2010 and a figure they reported in August of 2011, they had shipped 11 million units. And then I think the other 4 million came last summer when they announced backwards compatible.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, the other thing too,
there was a huge
with Red
spike.
Dead,
obviously, it wasn't 4 million, but
the other thing with Red Dead too is it kind of went. I mean, it's not like GTA where it was really established either, because I didn't even know what it was. Like, and I played games at the time, and then it wasn't until, like, you know, months later that I played it at my friend's house. I was like, "Whoa, this is cool!" And then I got it because it was awesome. But I just totally went unnoticed for me just because, you know, it wasn't GTA.
Yeah.
And it didn't have a giant marketing budget.
While I think, like, yes, it's not the franchise is not as popular as GTA. I think the success of GTA 5 will get players who maybe weren't on, you know, of that 15 million, weren't really on on board with Red Dead. They are going to be on board with this because of GTA 5, because of the success that had. And so now you're coupling GTA 5 sales plus, and of course there's crossover, right? So
I guess the other thing too is now you not only have the success of GTA 5, you have the huge success of Red Dead Redemption that is now, you know, obviously very established. Huge
you'd
franchise.
like to think that the crossover is pretty much everybody, don't you? I mean,
Well, with 70 million whatever it is, 70 million copies sold of GTA 5, everybody had GTA 5. So anybody that buys Red Dead is
of the 15 million, I'd have to think all 15 million pretty much have.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously it's not 100%.
I feel like it's kind of more like if you like Red Dead, you're also going to like GTA, but not necessarily backwards.
Totally agree.
It's like, GTA definitely has more appeal for everyone because, like, even if you just like to run around the city and shoot people, like, that is the best game to just run around the city and shoot people. Like,
Yeah.
There's no better game to do that. I mean, where, yes, you can do that in Red Dead, but not really in the same way as you can in GTA.
Right. So are you guys excited? I mean, is it something that interests you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Good. We're all on board then.
I'm sure I'll be getting, maybe not immediately, but I'm sure I'll be getting it at full price or near full price.
Well, hang on, Randy. You know now that these pre-orders can actually sell out, so you should probably go take care of that, I'm saying.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that.
Now,
Is it just Amazon or is, GameStop, Best Buy, etc. also sold out?
That I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. This was just a news story through gamingbolt.com. It's just kind of a silly thing to talk, but I am excited for the game. I hope. Now, what the real question is it going to be on your E3 bingo card, given Rockstar's track record of not being part of E3?
That is the kind of game that could really benefit from announcing an E3 because so many people are anticipating it. Is you can be at E3 and you will steal the audience from everywhere else because you're Red Dead. Everyone plays Red Dead. I
think you could also get a good chunk of money from Sony off of that too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey,
I'm sure. Yeah.
Do you want to win E3? Then pay a whole bunch of money and we will announce the game on your stage.
Yeah.
And
and
as
show
if they need more
cinematic
money.
trailer. Yeah, really.
Need more money.
I just checked the Best Buy site and I can pre-order it. So
okay, so
awesome.
I guess it must just be.
So anyway, let's move on. I'm excited. We did talk a little bit about E3 bingo. Keep your eyes on the forums. We're getting close, guys.
Bingo.
We got to set that up. We'll have community interaction. We'll allow people to submit cards. We will have guesses as to what we'll see. We'll have to kind of create a framework because it's one thing to say what games are going to be announced on stages. It's another thing to announce what's going to be announced on Xbox's stage. Of course, you can try and do Ubisoft or EA Plays little thing, all sorts of fun stuff like that. But we'll hammer that thing out. Speaking of Amazon, though, they kind of dropped the ball on our friends at THQ Nordic. That's what their name is. THQ Nordic. Amazon accidentally posted a pre-order link for Darksiders 3.
Leaky pipes.
It was promptly taken down, but of course, if anything gets posted on the internet, it never truly goes anywhere. And so, THQ Nordic was forced to release their launch trailer, their announcement trailer. We indeed are making this game. Now, the reason I bring this up,
convenient they had a trailer ready to go.
I think they're ready to make an announcement, but maybe they didn't want to make it on this day. Maybe they wanted to say, hey, announce something on Twitter like, we've got an announce the announcement.
Leaky pipes.
Get a little bit. I don't think this was. I think Amazon effed up.
It's possible.
It is possible. Regardless, that's not what I want to talk about.
Leaky pipes are also possible, too.
I want to talk about how awesome this is that THQ Nordic is unearthing Darksiders 3. Now, all of us achievement hunters who are not huge fans of the fact that Darksiders 2 is littered with unobtainables at the moment.
Well, the other thing, Darksiders 2, so the story with that one is when THQ went under, the achievement broke. Then Nordic fixed it, and then it broke again. So they did fix it at least once, which was nice.
Right.
Now, but that's the only achievement. That's the only achievement that's discontinued in the 360 version. But both of the remasters had unobtainables in them and are apparently just
buggy
I don't know
messes.
about Darksiders 1, but like they're wrecks.
Yeah, they're not good.
Like Darksiders 2 was an absolute wreck on the remaster, so
which is unfortunate.
We'll
you know, and I'm not going
and
to
they
blame.
didn't go back and fix it. It's not like it was a wreck on launch and they fixed it. Like it's still a wreck. I think they did fix the unobtainable in the Darksiders 1 remaster though.
I don't want to blame THQ Nordic for it. I feel like that it's just a remnant of all the bankruptcy stuff and the acquisitions and the, all the issues with trying to transfer everything over.
Then don't remaster it. If it's going to be that much of a disaster, then don't do it. You're selling a lower quality product than already is available.
I'm curious if they didn't know, like if that happened as because the messy ones are the end game achievements, right? The BFA and the ones that are always messed up where you get 100%.
Well, I guess for the achievement, yeah, but the general bugs. I mean, I'm thinking achievements aside.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The fact that the game is a buggy mess, you just shouldn't release it. If you can't get it to work, then don't sell it.
I suppose that's they should be held accountable for that. But if you're trying to unearth the embers of THQ Nordic and reclaim some type of foothold, that you might need some income. It's still pretty egregious. I totally agree, Randy. It's not a practice that I think is very favorable for the industry, but in the same regard, it's they need money to develop, and who's going to fund a Darksiders 3 really when
Nordic is not a small company either. I mean they're not like at EA, but they're not tiny. I mean they bought like half of THQ's catalog when they went bankrupt. So I mean they've got money. Or they did. I don't know, maybe they spent it all, but they did have a substantial amount of money to acquire that catalog. So, yeah,
I suppose. I'm wondering if I can look up and see how much they.
And I'm not sure if they're necessarily big just on Xbox, but I want to say Nordic does a big franchise on PC, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
So that's an old company. Apparently, they have 150 employees. Is what I'm hearing here.
So pretty good size. I mean, again, not an EA, but not tiny.
No. What? Oh, they distributed Quantum Break. That's weird for the Windows. It must have helped with getting that over. Huh. Interesting. I don't know what I'm trying to find what property you're looking at.
I'm trying to find their.
Looks like they just did a bunch of Windows ports for just try to pay the bills on all this stuff.
Oh, maybe I'm mixing them up with someone else.
Because THQ split into a decent amount of other properties. So I think Vigil's gone. This was Nordic Games bought the bulk of the IP from THQ, but they split up a bunch of THQ IP, and so I think that's why then they got the rights to use the THQ name is because of the just the sheer amount of products that they took from them. They were able to rebrand.
They had an announcement on it a while back. Because they were like, oh, well, we bought so much of the catalog and we used so much of it that we wanted to like honor THQ or something. So I don't know, maybe nobody even had the rights to THQ name. They're like, whatever, just use it.
Could be.
I don't know how that works.
Would you keep the name to Interplay if you bought that? Would you try to be Interplay?
Probably. I mean, it's worth something, but I don't know if that catalog includes the name Interplay. It's just Interplay.
It includes Star Trek and D&D and stuff. I mean, I listened to last show. You get all sorts of goodies.
They might charge you another 10 million for the name.
So you got the line around, right?
Let's circle back and actually talk about the game itself. Now, I enjoyed both Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2, and I played them both on the 360. They are very much, for those of you who haven't played, they are very much in the vein of your old Zelda, Zelda 64 type, 3D action platformer where, you go into a dungeon and, hey, guess what? There's the hook shot is in the big chest. And when you unlock the hook shot, guess what? That's how you get the big key and then use the big key to go fight the boss. And I bet you can't guess what the weakness of the boss is.
It is the hook shot.
It's the hook shot.
The hook shot.
But it's like, those games are super fun.
Exactly. That's a great. There's nothing wrong with that format, and
I totally agree.
Nothing does it anymore.
No, they really don't. I mean, even the new
lost.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild has just eschewed that for, hey, you literally have everything, so you just need to figure out how to get in there. I kind of like the one where it's semi-Metrovania, right, where you're gated by your equipment, and there's presumably a level of progression. Presumably, that's not the right word. There is a level of progression as you get new equipment and new things. I don't necessarily care for the backtracking when you're like, oh, I got to go get that MacGuffin now that I have my, my pistol or my grappling hook or whatever. That's kind of annoying. In
Zelda, a lot of the backtracking was just optional.
Oh, yeah, most of it.
Oh, yeah,
it wasn't like, I need to go back, but it's like, oh, but there's an extra heart container in there, or there's like a cool extra thing in there that's optional, but it'll make my game easier.
Well, who didn't want all the heart containers, though?
Well, and to Proulx's point, like, if that game was on Xbox, you'd know there's an achievement for getting every heart container, right? Yep. And so inherently, as an achievement hunter who, when I was young, played Nintendo games, it was, well, I can't just leave, I've got 3/4 of a heart container. I got to find that fourth piece. Are you kidding me?
See, I didn't do that with those older games. Like, I hated collectibles, and as much as I would have liked to complete them, I just couldn't do it without the achievement motivating me.
Yeah,
no patience for that.
I absolutely had to, and I just couldn't help myself, getting all the stars in Super Mario World.
Oh yeah,
there's a counter there. That counter needs to be maxed out.
At least in that game, you unlocked Luigi if you hit all 120 stars. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I did actually. I did get all of the marbles in Earthworm Jim 3D, so I could play as Earthworm Kim.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe
the
that's
game
the
was
case.
so bad. I think I played the first level and then that was it. 'Cause it was like a new game plus, so it was a harder version of the game, and I was like, "No, this game sucks. I'm not going to bother." I unlocked it good enough.
So let me guess.
That gets you the true ending that is an insult to fans of the series and is just awful. Don't ever do it. It's not worth it.
Do you get to see some Kim Jim, hookup action? Is that...
Is Earthworm
better.
Kim the same as Earthworm Jim, but has pink on her suit instead of blue?
It has to have a pink bow like Miss Pac-Man.
No, Earthworm Kim is the same model with hair.
Oh my gosh!
A lipstick too, maybe, probably.
Let me check.
Is the hair part of the grapple mechanic that Earthworm Jim has?
Oh yeah.
Because he uses his body, right, to
whip.
his head.
I don't know if you could even whip in Earthworm Jim 3.
Oh, that might have been too old, or no?
No, too new.
Too new.
Earthworm Jim 3 was a horrible abomination.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And should never have been created. Oh, and so Earthworm Kim has earrings, bow tie, and blonde hair.
I'm sorry,
hair bow tie.
Let me just. I'm not a great biology mind, but I'm pretty sure worms don't have ears. What the hell is pierced to have earrings?
I don't know.
Now, how cool would it be if they remade Earthworm Jim a la the 3D Castlevanias or God of War, where you could have that super whip mechanic new. With the actual body and stuff. That'd be kind of cool, like a stylized hack and slash Earthworm Jim. That'd be fun. I keep getting sidetracked. So back to Darksiders 3. This one, actually, the character now is a female lead named Fury. Apparently in the Darksiders lore, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are totally different than the actual four horsemen. Of course, there is war and death, right? Those are actual horsemen, but instead of famine and pestilence, they have strife and fury. So those are the four horsemen here, and there have been allusions, if you follow the lore at all. I just learned about all this week. I was like, I didn't realize there was this deep of a backstory. But anyway, so Fury has been mentioned at times. Looking at her, I don't know if you guys do any of the Games Workshop back in the day with old Warhammer, the Warhammer Fantasy line. Anyway, they had a race of dark elves. And in that were these witch elves, and they had this crazy hair, kind of seductive outfits, and were completely insane. That's what I see here, and I think similar to what Death's play style, where you had maybe the two scythes, or you're a very flourishy type combat. That's what I envision this character to be: a highly stylized hack and slash, God of War, Bayonetta, one of those kind of action platformers. I love those types of games. Those are super fun. Now I hope they can pull it off with this title, but I'm excited about it. Did you guys play Darksiders at all?
I played the first one.
On my list for ages.
So Proulx played the first one, and Randy, you're floating around on it, but haven't played any.
Yep. Well, I would definitely play Darksiders 1. I might play Darksiders 2, not on my tag, depending on
Darksiders 2. What I don't like about Darksiders 2 is you can complete. So for if you're looking for achievements, you can complete the game. Like, so if you have to do New Game Plus. I think almost a couple of times. So you play through the game, you unlock all the story achievements, and at the end of that, you're at character level X with whatever level equipment you have, and then you unlock some other end game stuff. And there's I think it's called the Crucible, where you do successive arena type battles, and they gate those off essentially by difficulty, and so you need to continue to increase your weapons and get better loot so that you can fight those enemies. And even about halfway through, there's some other characters who are introduced through that mechanic, through other areas of the game. And so it's I kind of got sidetracked after knowing that even after I quote unquote complete the story, that I'm maybe 60% done with the game. It's that's a big chunk to chew. I don't have a problem with other content that's added on, but I like when I complete a game, when I beat a boss, I like the content to be in you have 15 to 20% left at most. Because there's this just kind of cathartic thing of hey, I beat the boss, I'm done. New Game Plus always rubs me the wrong way. It's I got to do the whole darn thing. So even now, I've been playing Diablo, and you do your first run of Diablo, and you're getting achievements after every boss, right? Butcher, the Larder, the Asmodan, all those different characters. You're getting an achievement after every one, pretty much. And then you have to go into Nightmare difficulty, and guess what? No achievements until you beat Diablo. And then you got to go to Hell difficulty. And guess what? No achievements until you beat Diablo. So you got to play through the game 2 more times to get a single achievement. Then you get to do Nightmare or Inferno difficulty. Then you get more achievements, right? Beat this guy on Inferno, and then maybe get another 6 more. And then once you beat Diablo again, you're still on Inferno, and you get that other achievement. But it's oh my god, I got to play this game 4 times. Of course,
that game is built for New Game Plus, though. It's so satisfying. Yeah. Besides the achievements, just the core experience itself is so satisfying that I don't have any problem going back to that game again.
You're right. That is the whole loot pickup thing, and knowing the fact that you need 5 million gold pieces, that you indeed only playing through 4 times, you will barely be anywhere toward picking up enough gold. That back to your achievements, the constitution for achievements. That is on the list of an egregious achievement, is the 5 million gold pickup.
I feel like that one is the perfect example of that done poorly.
Oh, yeah. Well, in my Never Dead one that I mentioned back in the day, another one of those, just you guys, you totally missed the mark. Anyway, I'm excited for it. well, Darksiders 3. I'm looking forward to some new announcements, and I feel bad about because I do think it was a dumb leak. It wasn't meant to come out. They didn't control their message well, and I mean Destiny 2 was the same way. They shipped marketing material. They should have known better. So maybe, Randy, you're right. They should have known better. Don't let materials leave your control until you're absolutely ready to
but
make
I'm
the
not
announcement.
saying that. I'm saying it's intentional. Leaky pipes. They're intentionally not calling the plumber.
No,
They like it to be a little leaky.
I don't think so.
When those E3 tides come in.
Yeah.
Oh man. Those pipes get real leaky.
Let's move into our listener feedback here. So you guys have to remember which question you like the best. We're going to start off with Mick Lovin Legend. He says, "Hey, what gen are me and you, Proulx, in Titanfall? And when will the U.S. guys be completing it?" So let's start with us, because we just played last night.
Yeah.
Where are you?
I think Generation 6, I want to say. It's been a little while since I've actually ranked
Taking
up
a
or
peek.
anything. So I think I'm 6. I want to say 6. I'm pretty confident.
I feel like you guys sound like you accomplished absolutely nothing during Titanfall Thursday.
Some people do. Some people
Yeah.
do accomplish a lot, and sometimes you don't accomplish as much, and that's okay.
Yep. I am on 5, and I am 18 arc cannon kills from getting to 6. I mean, I'm pretty much there. I'll have that boosted in one match next Thursday. We have been ramping up so we've been doing an extra night where we've been doing a little bit more frontier defense, because at this point, we'll save the core boosting for Thursday nights, where getting pilot kills, things that are a little bit more difficult in regular play to do, and we can streamline those and then get to go to frontier defense, work on those stars, and kill just tons and tons of random other things to level up and do that stuff. That's primarily how it's been going. But we do have. I have 5. Did I miss anybody? Because I've got Matriarch, Stushnikin, Smiddle, Kushmoose, and Geek Squad have completed. Did I miss anybody from that list?
Nope,
We've got 5 completions on there, and looking at the list, so you and me are in that kind of 6 range. I think Big L is in that 6 range. New York Giants is pretty darn close. Weasel Pizza is up there. Saucy Slingo is pretty much done. Mighty Mango's pretty much done. I mean, we're all kind of in that range. And then we do have a collection of kind of some new people who signed on that are in that like Gen 1, 2 area. And so we're helping them as best as we can as well. But, we're all going to hit 8 here, where, that's where you really need to do the boosting, because you're just doing wins boosting. Everybody needs to get 100 for that. As far as completing it, I'm really only like doing maybe 2 hours a week.
Yeah, if
3 hours a
I
week.
get it done, I will be very surprised. I'm not as gung ho as everybody. I don't mind. Like I hop on and I help where I can, and I get what I can.
Yeah.
If I never complete the game, it won't keep me up at night. So I'm just kind of there for the social experience and to help out. So
we do have a lot of fun chit chatting with everybody in the party, and I think about half the party is not playing Titanfall. I do feel bad for the individuals who spend time to help us. Like M. Specifically M, because she helps run the webpage and stuff too. But I know who else is in there that doesn't necessarily need to be?
Stoosh,
yep,
yeah.
He's there helping out. Anyway, so we got people who are like still spending time, and granted it's a fun game, but it's really hard when you have 100% completion to go back and know that you're not. You could be working on other things. So we absolutely appreciate it. So anyway, but I do, now that I'm kind of this close, I do want to complete it, but I don't mind if others tail off and they're like, yeah, okay, we're kind of done. It's like, really, go to Japan West, we can probably still, it's slower, but like 4 people can effectively do that boost too. And granted, not as fast, but you can get those kills out of the way, do other things. Anyway, Buffs has a question for us. Well, not a question. We do hear a question from him later, but there's a comment here regarding Scream Ride. He's got a friend who has a level looking to be downloaded. He only needs 21 more. So if you listen to this and happen to do Scream Ride, maybe you can get a like back. But it's TAXLSWX. There was a session set up, kind of fell through. So if the community is out there and wants to give his world a little thumbs up or download it or whatever, that'd be great. JJ Aldana reaches out. He said, I got a couple questions. Instead of, quote unquote, what remasters would you like? How about which game do you want ported over to the Xbox One? So, what games existed on the old system that have yet to be brought up and, given a nice touch of paint and made look pretty again.
Isn't that what a remaster is?
Yeah, that is a remaster. So straight port.
I'm trying to think, even the straight ports at this
difference?
point are called remasters, like BioShock or the Batman games or anything like that. Like, they're essentially just ports with a new coat of paint, depending on the game.
I think he means just not necessarily something that was on the Xbox, like something that was maybe exclusive to Nintendo 64.
Let me finish his comment.
Like Turok.
Yeah, because he says, for me, it'd have to be Tony Hawk games and Guitar Hero 3. He says, seeing how Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD was a bad remaster and Guitar Hero Live was a bad transition to current gen, it would have been better if they just ported over the old ones. Okay, because they worked better.
So that's a perfect example. Like, say,
Rockman 3.
Peripherals
Rockman
aside,
4.
I was going to say peripherals aside, if they were going to do something like Guitar Hero, you have 2 options. You can put it on back compat, or you would do some sort of they would call it some sort of a remaster. I mean, I don't know that they would just port the game. That game's too old, I feel like. They wouldn't get their money out of it, I feel like. But if they called it, Guitar Hero 3, the awesome
Guitar Hero 3 Director's Cut or something.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's a tough question because I feel like they would
5 extra songs and cost $80.
Yeah. And I still
none of your old guitars work.
Stupid devil. Oh, God.
Yeah. It's funny because I was just listening
you gotta swing by. I'll do it for you.
I was just listening to the IGN. Was it IGN podcast? Who the hell? Oh, Major Nelson. Remember, month behind on podcasts, and he was talking to Ron Gilbert about Thimbleweed Park. And I think when did we do Thimbleweed Park's review? Is that this week or last week?
I think that is coming up.
I know it's coming up.
Next week or the week after. It's in the schedule. It hasn't been done yet, but it is in the schedule and it is very soon.
Yeah, but so any of you who have watched that gameplay know that it is very much like Maniac Mansion. I mean, that is the art style. That is what it's supposed to elicit feelings of. And you look at it and you're like, oh my God, yeah, like that's great. It totally reminds me of the old LucasArts point and clicks. It's just awesome. Yeah, you got the big blocky heads, the 8-bit graphics and stuff. But it's not. You look at it and you think, yeah, it's retro. And then you kind of go into a little more. And if you went back and looked at Maniac Mansion, that's a hot mess. I mean, like, you were so limited on what you could do with color, what you could do with how you were so limited by memory constraints, and this was all with the Ron Gilbert interview, that the game you remember is not the game that you want to play today. And so what he tried to do was make a game that gave you the feelings, and I know Tony Hawk tried this too, gave you the feelings of what it was like to play that game back in the day. And he's like, we in this game, in Thimbleweed Park, we add a bunch of shaders so that everything has dynamic lighting. On an 8-bit, essentially 8-bit graphics, but they have dynamic lighting because that adds depth. The color palette that's available is so much broader. They have voice actors. They have digital music. All these little things that it's like, well, of course you're going to have that. It's a game made in 2017. Like, why would you not do that? But if you literally wanted to make Maniac Mansion, you'd have MIDI, you'd have no, text dialogue, you'd have like, how many colors were that? 32 colors at your disposal. They're making the game that you remember playing, and it harkens back to that. Now, that's kind of how I look at these ports, is what game did I play back in the day that, I probably don't want to play it right now, but if you prettied it up and added some new, modern elements to it, that's, like the Final Fantasy VII remake.
It's kind of like playing System Shock. This version of System Shock I'm playing has one big difference that makes it so much more bearable to play. It's unreal. So the original System Shock, this game is all in first person, and there's a HUD that you interact with, like a point and click game, but the gameplay it's a first person shooter. So to look up and down, you have to drag a slider up and down. Like you move your mouse over it, you click on it, drag it up or down to aim, and then shoot.
Yeah.
While this thing, whatever is trying to kill you. So this version has a mouse or a keyboard button toggle that will lock your mouse in like a modern first-person shooter, so you can look around effectively, like actually shoot at things effectively. And then if you want to interact with the HUD, you just unlock it, and then it goes back to the original controls. Which, man, I don't think I could have made it past like 15 minutes in that game with the drag up and down aiming, because it's brutal.
Yeah,
it's like
it is
Jet Force Gemini, how that was fixed.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, just that one little thing goes so far, and it's still it preserves almost that entire experience, but it just makes it so much more bearable to get through by adding that one little thing to it, to just
that one weird trick.
Yes, one.
You won't
play
believe
old
what it
games
is.
with this one weird trick. Number 6 will shock you.
Oh man.
So I'm trying to think now, using that framework of what game played in the past that I would like to revisit nowadays, and I keep those old RPGs keep jumping in my head. Like, I would love to play a modern Chrono Trigger, I think. Because it's like, man, back in the day, I had such fond memories of that game. And now I think I want to play another one of those. But then, obviously, I'm going to get it, and it's not going to, it's not going to do it. There's plenty of JRPGs out there. Like, I could just pick up any of them. And so it's
never going to live up to your expectations.
No.
Because you're not 12 anymore.
Yeah, and the expectations are impossible.
Yeah.
Gosh, what, I'm trying to think all those
Cloud Corner.
Yeah, I'm trying to think all those fun old like arcade titles, but Fez remaster port of Fez doesn't do anything for me. Braid doesn't do anything for me. Like, the
funny thing is though, like if you look at like real arcade games, like from arcades, hold up amazingly well.
Sure.
Like Robotron 2084, just straight port it. It's still great. Like, great game. And that's coming from someone who has never played it in arcades until like a few years ago. It's a great game.
Yeah.
It's like from the 80s probably.
I'd like
the 2080s.
Yeah. You know what? I always really like the old Quest for Glory games. They were all point and click adventures, but there's a little bit of combat sprinkled in there, and then it went off the rails with Quest for Glory 4. But those types of Sierra games where, King's Quest or Space Quest, or I'd like to play those again. That's where I'm going to put my money on. Do you guys have any answers to?
Yeah, because point and click games are kind of more like a story.
Yeah.
The graphics are bad. It's ugly, but that core experience is unchanged. I mean, the point and click game now is exactly the same as it was back then. Yeah, it's puzzles and story on static backgrounds, basically.
Yeah,
it was really interesting too, because this was a few weeks ago now. I was watching a video about I think it was a Roland synth. I don't even know how I stumbled onto this video. It was a Roland synth that a lot of DOS games utilized, but it was super expensive. Like when it came out, I think it was like $1,000 or something. So like you could have all these old DOS games that a lot of people played, and you could hook them up to this synth, and they would play like they would have soundtracks made specifically for that computer speakers couldn't play, or it just had the MIDI notes and it didn't have any sounds assigned to them or whatever. And then you play it through the synth, and it has this gorgeous soundtrack. And so they played the Monkey Island soundtrack with and without it in this video, and it was like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But nobody ever would have experienced that soundtrack because the thing was like $1,000. And it's just like, man, that would have been cool to experience it back then, because like you listen to that soundtrack, you're like, oh man,
yeah,
that's rough. I guess that's one thing that wouldn't age well on the point and clicks is the sounds.
No, yeah, you'd probably want digital music for that for sure.
Yeah.
Proulx, do you have an answer at all? Could you come up with anything?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough for me because it's really hard to nail down precisely what kind of game. Like he mentioned Tony Hawk HD, which is a remake, it is a remake essentially. Actually, it's a total
if it was a remaster, it would have been the same probably.
Yeah, but it was terrible, and I mean, it's tough for me to like nail it down. I'm not really sure if I have a good idea. I'm gonna land on where I always land when I get asked what kind of old games do I want to replay, and there were rumors just recently that we're gonna get a redo of the Knights of the Old Republic, and I need that in my life. I need it very badly, so I'm really hoping for that.
Cool.
Man, I was just thinking too that GoldenEye XBLA game that never was.
Oh yeah, right.
That was done. That was done. It was made. It was fully complete, and then Nintendo comes in and ruins it for everyone.
I'm not so salty about that though, because Perfect Dark was a superior game, and we have.
I was going to say, I thought that's what became Perfect Dark.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's GoldenEye.
I know, but you get you literally have all the good levels from GoldenEye in that game.
I know you do, but it's not Golden. It doesn't have the name GoldenEye, so it doesn't attract GoldenEye people.
I know.
That's the problem.
Well, you know what? James Bond is a perfect example for JJ Aldana's follow-up question asking, which gadget from gaming would you like to use in real life? His rule is that the gadget must be plausible in real life, and he's grappling with the idea of a grappling hook, and because he can go up multiple stories and stuff and get to class on time, or that one he can control his car via remote control or his phone. That both of those gadgets are found in the Batman Arkham series. Beerme says, hey, you're forgetting about the jetpack, which eliminates the need for both the grappling hook and a car. And he says, plus you could chase down all those darn birds that poop on everything. So that's true. Do you guys have a gadget that is plausible that you'd like to?
What are we going to set for plausible?
I was going to say
that's what I'm thinking too.
Are we talking like
Portal
the
gun?
Perfect Dark,
Portal gun?
Perfect Dark Zero future Humvee? In 2020, because that's very plausible. But, then you can go even further in the future, and you get like the Syndicate brain chip thing that slows down time and makes you super fast.
Yeah, and I
kind of like they have the sci-fi explanation, but that's getting out
does
there.
that count? Right.
I was thinking Gravity Gun myself from Half-Life. That would be kind of fun. Is that plausible?
I was thinking no. I was thinking Portal Gun, but that's also not really, really plausible. But we can go with it.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'd stick those out of the plausible. I don't know.
Yeah.
that being, I watched Mythbusters. That grappling hook is not that plausible.
I was going to say that also seems problematic.
A grappling hook, you're going to have a big, it's not going to be like the Zelda Ocarina of Time grappling hook that's just infinity length of chain into this little tape measure thing in your hand.
Yeah, that would. I think I watched a video. It was one of those, we do the real math in these videos, and
right.
It would rip Link's arm off or whatever, when he tried to use the hook shot. So
That's awesome. So
I'm going to go with the perfect dark Humvee that's going to come out in 3 years. Because those are some quality futuristic 2020 Humvees.
Yeah. I'll go with the drone that is in every Ubisoft game. It seems like they can do everything. So,
well, those already exist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll take the Watch Dogs 2 drone because I know it exists, and I just want to play with a drone. I think it'll be fun.
Hey, you know what? Actually, the Watch Dogs cell phone that can hack everything in the world with a touch of the button is actually would be pretty useful, I imagine.
Yeah, it would be useful. I get in on that too.
Sort of plausible.
I guess. I don't know.
It's plausible enough.
Our monthly gamer tag challenge. Mitreal B has a question for us. What are some of the best or worst stories that you guys have from randoms during a TA boosting session? Boosting sessions over at trueachievements.com or just boosting sessions in general. He said he just tried to boost with a guy who would not stop talking about the flat Earth. He was a flat Earth theorist. So I could see how that would be
was a troll.
Pretty annoying. Hey, it happens. Have you had any, experiences that they were a little difficult, a little trying?
Yes.
Proulx? You got one, Proulx? Or should we let Randy go?
Yeah, let Randy go. I don't think I've had one. So
I've got two good. I've got good and bad. So we'll start with the bad, and we'll move to the good. So bad. This was what motivated me to stop doing boosting sessions unless they were absolutely necessary. So Halo 3, this is another VidMaster challenge. This achievement sat on my tag for like 2 years after getting all of the Gamerscore in the game. This is I want to say VidMaster Annual, the one where you have to complete the game on 4 ghosts on Legendary, the last level of Halo 3. Which isn't bad if you have a group of 4 that is like a good group of 4. So I saw a boosting session and a guy was just saying, he's like, hey, I've already got this achievement. I'm just helping people out. So I was like, oh, okay, that should be all right. Well, it was one of those sessions. So there were 2 groups in this session. So he was going to run 2 groups of 3. And this is one of those sessions where the guy has a friend that's not on TA and won't join TA, and he's just like, oh, yeah, my friend's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a big red flag. For anyone that has never had this happen, if this is stated in your session, almost all of the time it will be a disaster. Just as a general rule, it will be a disaster. So, yeah, that was red flag number 1. So red flag number 2 was a complete disorganized mess. I don't know. I don't remember this was years ago. So it turned out that there was one no-show. One of his friends didn't show up or something. And so it was just me. I was the only person left on the second group. So the first group all went and got the achievement with great difficulty. And he's just like, I'll come back in an hour and I'll run you through it or whatever. And, people stick around and do it. So I come back. They're still halfway through the level. And because it was a disaster.
Yeah.
And so, so they finally get through it. And then I was like, okay, it's my go. I don't remember what then the guy was like, they were annoying on top of being incompetent. And then the guy's like, oh, well, I don't even have to be doing this. I've got to go. So you can't have it. Or we got to hurry up. I'm like, you're the one that did this session. Yeah, you don't have to be doing it. But you committed to the session. I waited around for you. We could have just done the whole thing without you. Because there's 4 of us and you already have the achievement. So yeah, that was I'm sure that it was much worse than I'm remembering it because it was really bad. So yeah, that was a not so great boosting session. Now the boosting session that was amazing was the boosting session that happened when the Kane and Lynch leaderboards reset. And I don't know if you guys know the history of that session, but it was multiple hundred people session. And the way that those achievements work is you have to pass the skill from the top player to the next player. So if any person just bails at any point, that basically ruins the ladder.
Yeah.
I mean, if you might be able to get away with one here and there, but generally that's the end. So this session ran 24 hours a day for like 3.5 straight weeks.
Jeez.
I mean, the session wasn't scheduled for that long, but I mean, the forum was used to, kind of coordinate and all that. So eventually somebody did run away with the rank, but it was amazing. Like, these people would just step up and just take over as leader. And then, other people would sleep, people would come in and take shifts. And it was amazing because all of these people, like all these random people that had never boosted Canyon Lynch before, not only had to not run away with the rank and commit to like a 6-hour long play session. Once it got bigger and bigger, the sessions got longer and longer to the point that they were, like 6+ hours of continuous play to get the achievement and fully pass on your rank. And if you made too many mistakes, you were basically permanently locked out of it, just the nature of True Skill. So it was amazing that the community was able to run that session for that long, and the community members were able to, listen and cooperate for that long. It was unreal. I thought it was going to, I thought like 10, 15 people were going to get it, and then it was just going to collapse.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be like the 10 or 15 people that were in on getting the session going, that knew what they were doing, that had played Canyon Lynch before, and then after that it would have just kind of crumbled and fell apart.
What number were you?
I think I was like 10th or 12th.
Oh, okay. You were early.
Yeah, I mean, I was in on the in group, sort of. I mean, I wasn't, because it was really unfortunate because I had planned to stay up. They were supposed to reset at midnight or 8 a.m. or something. Like, there was a very specific time when they were supposed to reset. So I planned everything out. I was like, okay, it's going to take this long. I've got everything ready. I've got all my Xboxes ready to go. We're all in a party. We're waiting for it to reset, and then we'll start playing as soon as it happens. Well, turns out somebody forgot to push the big reset button at the office, and they were like 12 hours late.
That's right. So
I had a test at school the next day, so I couldn't just skip class. Otherwise, I would have. So then, they got moving, and, as you're in the middle of this, it becomes very difficult to communicate with the person running the session when they're trying to, get all this in line and fight off competitors. Because at this point, other people playing alone with multiple Xboxes could outboost this group because, each person, you have to teach them, you have to coordinate everything. But when it's just you just go. If you're good, you can just go and pass people. So that was the thing. So it was very, very difficult to get in touch with the people that were playing. And then I finally did, and they're like, okay, yeah, you're next on the list because, I had priority from before. So, I mean, I was in the party of 8 that were supposed to all go first. It was just, I couldn't take my turn because I had to go to school. Unfortunately.
Darn school. Stupid education. What a waste. Prue, did you come up with anything, or do you want me to go?
No, I've
you just have nothing.
Yeah,
you have nothing. You don't play with others.
I
can tell you that
people.
because
I don't.
You last night you didn't want to talk with anyone. You were
listen. Here's the thing. I get yelled
holding
at.
your knees, rocking in the fetal position.
I can't let Prumate yell while I'm in chat with people. They get very upset, so I have to keep myself muted when he's all rowdy, and he was very rowdy last night. So
yeah.
Stay up past his bedtime.
He did, yeah. I had to put him to bed. He's okay. This morning he was a little cranky, but I think he's okay now. So,
anyway, too many
tell us
beers.
your story, Fream.
Well, I can't think of some of the best. I mean, I've had some very good experiences, and obviously the ones that stick with you are the bad ones. The ones that I think were probably the best were like when we were all got together and did the Project Spark stuff, right? That was good, well communicated.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That worked out really well. But most recently, I can think of there were 2 Destiny sessions I got into. One very recently when I tried to do that Sunday heroic mode thing, and we got matched up with this dude from Australia who, okay, so you've got 5 U.S. people and 1 Australian. So you can only imagine how wonderful the connection was.
Sounds
to
like
him.
the podcast.
Yeah. And then B, he played a character who he could self-revive, right? Which, great. So if you die, you can come back to life. Okay. That's a very selfish dynamic in a team-based, mode. And so it's like, and because of that, he was incredibly reckless. So he could just if I die, I'll just, whatever, doesn't matter. I'll just run up there, do my own thing.
You should see how I play GTA.
That's how you play. So it's like, so that was super frustrating, and he wasn't communicating. It wasn't working to the goal. But I think one that's a little funnier that is also one of those no-nos is when you are playing where so it was another Destiny session, and I think I mentioned this on the show before, but we were playing one of the raids, and one of the individuals on the other end was younger. That's not to say there's anything against younger gamers. I'm fine with younger gamers, but this individual was also playing with his dad, and the problem is Dad did not have a microphone and was upstairs at their house. And so when you're trying to coordinate shooting things or calling things out to make sure people are in position, and you hear the kid pull the microphone away from his mouth and go, "Dad, no, hey, you gotta shoot, no, don't shoot that guy, no," and he's just yelling off my, and it's like, oh my God, get your dad a microphone. Literally, just there's a built-in one in the game. Your Xbox came with a crappy headset. Just literally plug that in. And so he's yelling upstairs trying to coordinate this well-timed attack. Suffice it to say, it did not go well. So that was probably one of the worst experiences that I have had in recent memory.
I actually came up with one here. It's pretty broad, but it was a good experience, and it was last year when they did the viral event, which I had great success with. I can't remember what TA called it, but
viral month.
Oh yeah, viral month.
Yeah, I had I just looked at the list, signed up for 3 or 4 of them, had no problems at all, and I hope they do it again. I think they were planning on it or whatever. But definitely going to be looking into that again because it went really well. Every session went really smoothly.
I think it's on our schedule. I don't remember where. I have to talk to Planting about where we slotted that in. It's on our radar. That's for darn sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a quick one here from Contini. We've already answered this before, so let's just make it speedy. When starting a new game, do you look at all the achievements first, or do you wait to not have spoilers? We've touched on this. Proulx, quick answer.
Depends on the game. I don't care about spoilers, but if it's a game I'm going for just for achievements, then I will obviously look at the list. If it's a game I really, really just want to play, then I'll play a good chunk of the way through, and then I'll start looking.
Randy, you?
I always look.
Yeah, because you want to know. And I myself have a compulsion to type all of the achievements into an Excel sheet, so I do see them all ahead of time, and then I promptly forget about them. So that is my approach to gaming. If it's a game I do enjoy or want the story, I typically will avoid, but it's really hard because I don't like unobtainables. Stushnikin has a question and says, hey, when you wipe, do you ball up the paper or do you fold it over? This is a little personal, but are you comfortable answering this, Proulx?
Wait, wipe in a team-based game? Is that what he's asking?
I'm sorry. I think he's talking about cleaning your rear end after you defecate. Presumably, you do wipe after number 2.
No, there's no wiping.
Bidet?
It's too expensive.
Are you a bidet guy?
No,
I've never. Have you ever used a bidet?
I have not.
I've heard it's lovely.
I've heard they're pretty great.
Okay, this is going to be a little graphic, but I'm sure others can attest to this. Is There are instances when, you're taking care of business and you depth charge and the recoil shoots the water right back up.
There were a lot of words you just used just then. A lot of colorful metaphors that were very nice.
I do not care for that sensation. Like, when that happens, I don't like that. So, leads me to think that a bidet would be uncomfortable. Just saying. As far as I'm a take around my hand and wrap around my hand, and then that's
the mummy technique.
Yep, that's my approach. And then actually,
technique.
Yeah,
There's a name for that.
I don't know. I just made it up. I don't think it's actually called that, but yeah, nice and neat. Fold it up for sure.
What are we, savages?
I know.
Hey, Crandy, here's a question for you from Buffs. If President Trump banned pajamas, would you move back to Canada?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I know, because my wife's in med school.
You can ditch her.
Maybe after.
She got to take the board somewhere. She could just... Well, they do that, right? Is that lawyer or is that doctor? What do doctors do?
I think it's both.
Residence.
I mean,
that's what you do. You just do your residence in Canada. That'll transfer, right?
Yeah, I think Canada doesn't like Americans.
I don't understand why.
She just needs to put on a Royal Mountie hat or one of those ear flap hats, and then it'd be set.
Ear flap hats? Right.
Yeah, the tracker hats. Yeah, perfect. I've seen Canadian bacon. I mean, that's pretty much all it is.
Yeah, that's all of Canada.
Hey, Saucy Slingo has a question for me, but we can all answer this one. What is your favorite type of hole? Now, of course, my name has a W, which the whole is in his entirety, or a complete package, donut, bagel, whatever. But what is your favorite kind of hole with just the H-O-L-E? I'm going to have to go with a donut hole myself.
I was thinking donut hole too.
Tasty.
By far my favorite.
I have a much better hole for this question.
I'm sorry, what's that? What's yours?
Black hole.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So
a little depressing.
Space hole.
It's not really depressing.
It kind of is. I mean, it is like all-encompassing gravity well that destroys anything that gets near it.
Well, as far as we know.
So much so that light can't even escape. Like, It is the epitome of darkness and despair.
But it is also responsible for not only... it's responsible for us, really.
Creation of the universe.
Yeah, so...
Maybe.
Space hole.
Space hole. There you go. The best kind of hole.
Pretty sure God had a hand in that, Proulx. I don't know about your black hole theory. Real question, though, from Saucy... Well, that was a real question. But Saucy Single has another question asking, the zombie apocalypse is occurring as we speak. He knows something I don't know. And you get to choose one video game weapon with unlimited ammo. What weapon do you choose and why?
Oh, easy peasy. Easy peasy.
Easy.
Okay, let's hear it. Randy, you tell me first.
BFG.
No way!
That's too big.
Way
too
crazy.
Big and obnoxious. Yeah, you're gonna destroy
you
everything.
just shoot it once and everything's gone. I mean, that's it, and it's unlimited ammo, no reloads. I'm talking like Doom 1.
He didn't say unlimited. He didn't say no reloads. He just said unlimited ammo.
See, that's Doom 1 rules. There is no reloading.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that. Proulx, you said easy. What is yours?
The golden gun.
Oh, you got me beat on that. Well, I don't know. Because the golden gun is only a single shot. It's just one shot, one kill.
Yeah, but it goes through people.
Just clears the screen.
Okay,
clears everything.
Now I need a bit of a clarification here because I'm not quite sure the tech behind it. The smart pistol in Titanfall. Is that like brain seeking, heart seeking, or can it just simply lock on to any target?
I imagine it's eye tracking.
Okay, then I want that. Then I don't even have to aim. I can just like point it near zombies and it just goes to their head and just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
I just have to hold it out. Then I don't have to try. So I'm going to take Smart Pistol from Titanfall. If I do not, I don't have it has to find brain activity, right? It doesn't work on zombies because they're undead, or it uses heat maybe, right? Because they're going to be ambient temperature, a zombie is. Then I'd have to come up with a different solution. Now, when it says unlimited ammo, is that like non-degrading too, right? So I
would assume so.
So I don't have to like necessarily repair it or anything. Because there's some really great weapons in Destiny that I would love to get my hand. Actually, there's a gun called the Zombie Apocalypse, and that's a big old, LFG. That's not what the word I'm looking for. LMG. Light machine gun. With like 200 bullets in it or something. The idea is that you it takes so long you don't have to reload. But I think I like something with a little more finesse. I want something where skill is rewarded, I suppose. But I think in a crunch, you want to kind of be able to let things rip. So maybe the Kvastov gives me the flexibility because you can go with power, you can go with speed on that one. So I'm going to take the Kvastov as a realistic, essentially a futuristic AK-47 that has the ability to shoot high rate of fire rounds or a lower rate of fire, more powerful rounds. So that's what I'm taking. If my Smart Pistol doesn't work, Smart Pistol, choice number A. Choice number A. God, what's going on? It's like I'm drinking.
It's too late at night.
Maybe. Well, let's just.
I'm out of it too.
Let's wrap up then and come up with our question of the week. What do we like? Whose topic? I have two in mind, but I want to hear from you guys.
I gotta go back and look over all of them now that we've been talking about them for so long. I don't know.
So we had JJ Aldana had a couple about the port or his gadget. We had Mitreal B who liked his boosting stories. We had McLovin asking about Titanfall. We had the wiping question. I'm gonna say that's not one of my top ones right now. So I'm between.
I kind of like JJ Aldana. We got a lot of discussion there.
A lot of run out of that one. I'm impartial to Saucy Slingo's zombie question and Mitreal B's awful boosting stories.
Yeah, the boosting stories is good too.
So, I like that. I like the zombie question as well.
Saucy Slingo, then we got two. All right,
like it.
Saucy's the winner.
Don't
nice
say
cut.
I never
nice
do
job,
anything
sir.
for you, Saucy.
Look at that. He loves you. Actually, he's going to take whatever prize it is, and he's going to defecate in it and then send it back to you, Proulx. Because apparently he doesn't care for you anymore.
He does.
What did you do to him,
He just
man?
gets mad. I don't know what it is. He just yells at me as soon as I enter the room, no matter where I am. So.
Well, you know what? I'm looking at this list of games that you've played last week. Is it because you're not playing games with him?
I did play a game with him, in fact.
Oh, what is it? Why don't you tell us what you played last week?
You want to hear just the whole thing? So
do your recap, yeah.
Yeah. With Saucy and with Fufu Cuddly Poof, we pretty much finished out Left 4 Dead, the original. I mean, we have a couple of things. I have a couple of things I got to finish out solo. But pretty much beat all of the main campaigns on experts and did the DLC and just a couple of miscellaneous cleanup stuff, and then we're on to Left 4 Dead 2. So that'll be fun. We're actually kind of trying to determine when and who and how that's going to go, but that's what's next. So Left
4 Dead is very doable, kind of the same way with that expert glitch. The game is, if I remember, fairly hard, quite a bit harder, but
the second one,
but it's the same thing where you can kind of cheese your way through it with the.
Do you know if it's the same glitch? It's not really a glitch. It's a function of the
exploit.
Yeah,
I guess.
It's an exploit,
you're not supposed to be able to do it, but I think so. If it's not the same, it's very similar.
Yeah, I haven't
because I did that because expert on that game is just brutal.
Yeah, I remember. I played a good chunk of the game. I actually went back and looked just to see where I was at, and I think I had like 400 points out of the 1,000 plus all the DLC still to do. So yeah, we'll be playing the second one for a while. I was just curious. I assumed there was a similar exploit, but
yeah, there is.
We'll have to look into that and see what's going on. So last week I wasn't on the show because I actually had a bunch of friends come down from back home and
your racist friends.
Slow down, a bunch. Come on, we know you don't have that many friends.
There were 6 total of us. So myself and Prumate, and then we had 4 friends come down to visit. So in between all of the festivities and other things that you have when, friends from out of town come in, we played some video games. Orgies. Lots of orgies, let me tell you. So we played some video games, and nothing too crazy. Actually, one of my friends brought his Switch down, and a few others actually picked some up while they were here. So we played a bunch of Mario Kart, but that's neither here nor there. We also played some Jackbox, which is always a good time, especially when you get some good some friends. I think we played the second one, I want to say. So that was a good time. We also played, one of my friends and I played Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time, since that had just gone free. And that game is really fun.
It is fun. You making some good progress on it? I mean, is your friend competent?
He's okay. No, he actually, we did pretty well. Again, we didn't get so much time to play. I think we got past the first world boss and then into the second world. It was like on the second or third level, we decided that we were going to start going for all the little bunnies or whatever to catch. So we had to replay a couple of times. But
how did you not go for them to begin with? Like, clearly, they were all in the top. You wanted to get all 10.
Well, we still had to figure out how the game worked.
Oh, I suppose.
Anyways, but it was fun. It was a good time. It's a game that I can't really go back to until like my friend either comes back down or something. So
get Prumate to be better at it.
Yeah, he's. So
now, you can play that solo too.
Oh, can you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can AI control your buddy.
That must be terrible.
You can kind of just tell him like where to go, and he'll do it, or you can hot swap between them and do it. So it exists. It's not as fun. Certainly,
I was going to say,
but
that sounds like, half the fun was just, you run over there, I'll run over here, and you do this, and you control the engines, and I'll control the shield, and it's the same exact situation. For my random to-do list this month, I have get 3 stars in all kitchens in Overcooked, and I really want to do it, and I'm trying to convince Prumate, but he's just so lazy.
No, you can do it solo. You can do it.
I can do it, but I don't want to. It's so much more fun with
fun. It's fun. It's actually really fun trying to do it solo because the time is so tight and you have to manage 2 people at the same time. It's kind of crazy. Like, I got like crazy eyes playing that game because it's just like, it's so intense, and it's just, especially when it's like, there are some levels where it comes down to like seconds whether or not you will make it because it's so tight.
Yeah.
Unless you can figure out the crazy control 2 people at once scheme that just makes the thought of it hurts my brain. I can't imagine playing that, but
yeah, we'll see. Yeah. I might go for it. But so yeah,
it's not easy, but it's definitely possible.
But so they were down last week, so I didn't actually get too much to do since they left. I mentioned ODST and obviously Titanfall and Left 4 Dead. I worked on Duke Nukem Forever for Random To-Do List, which is such a stupid game. Man, that game is dumb. And I spent a good, so I had to get to a certain part in the game. I was only in like the second to third mission from just playing it, and I had to get to like the 10th mission or whatever to get the Random To-Do List achievement. So I'm just going through picking up as much achievements as I can on the way. And I spent a good hour trying to beat this stupid air hockey game. I was getting so frustrated. I did get it, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. I've also been playing Halo 4 daily to do daily Halo 4 challenges. And I got to tell you, it's not great. It's not super fun to do that because there's hardly anybody playing that game, and it's super laggy at this point. but I need to get 25 this month so I can get that on my random to-do list. Other than that, I started Lego Marvel Avengers, so it's been a little while since I've played and beaten a Lego game. That's going pretty standardly. And I started and completed Among the Sleep, which was a fairly standard first-person thriller, horror, scary puzzle game. It was okay. I don't know. It was just
How are the achievements and stuff?
The achievements are super easy. It's a super quick completion. That's why I was playing it. It was, I think, probably sub 3 hours, and it's all. I mean, there's collectibles, but the guy you probably should follow the guide, but you could technically find them. I would follow the guide. It's okay. You follow this. You have this teddy bear, and you hug him, and he is a flashlight, and that's it. It's okay. And that's it. That's what I've been playing this week.
Nice. What about you, Randy?
Well, I've been working on my random to-do list. As I mentioned before, too, I've been playing RuneScape a lot. I mean, not a lot, but, as much as Xbox. So, yeah.
You don't like achievements anymore, I hear.
No, I guess not. But I am working on my random to-do list, which, as I mentioned, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Finally getting back to that. I played Sports Ball 08, which is a game that I really struggle with. Not really understanding sports ball and having to, tell all of the sports team guys what to do and where the sports ball goes it makes the points, and I don't get it. I played some more Vaccine, which, as we mentioned, is a terrible game. It's so frustrating, but we talked about that.
You talked about that on the review.
In the review. Yeah, in the review. And I finished Transformers, my random to-do list game from 2 months ago that I was working on. I finally went back and finished it. I was just really in the zone. I just kind of ripped through it, and it was fun. It didn't really overstay its welcome. It was good it was very good for a movie game. I'll put it that way. I don't regret playing it, and I enjoyed what I played of it. I mean, it's not like a masterpiece by any means, but it did what it did fairly well. So I enjoyed that, and that's it for me this week.
Cool. Random to-do list myself. That is, once it came out on Monday, I was super excited to get on the board, and I had a couple low-hanging fruit 2 achievements, actually, in Polychromatic. And the first one was relatively easy, just simply get 50,000 points in one life mode. Fairly simple, got it right away, and I was like, oh, the other one is get shot 5 times. It's a twin-stick shooter. How hard can that be? You'd be surprised how hard that can be, because it's very much like Geometry Wars, where really not that much of any of the bad guys actually shoot. So you have to make it to wave 7 before anything starts shooting at you, and the first bad guys that show up who do shoot, they're like little blue. They almost look like Kerbal Space Program satellites, kind of that triangle with a square on the top. And they'll spin in a circle, and then they'll pause, and that indicates where they're going to shoot. And then they shoot a single pellet out, and then the recoil of the pellet pushes them somewhere else, and then they spin and shoot again. Well, it's a one tiny little bullet that gets launched, and of course, it's a twin-stick shooter. There is crap everywhere, and so you're like trying to dodge things running into you while I was going headlong into bullets to try. It's only 5 bullets. Surprisingly took me way too much time. But I got them. So I got two random to-do lists off the board there. Of course, we had our Diablo night. We finished Diablo on Nightmare, so we are moving into Hell. We did have to do a little bit of grinding to get up to level 50, so they would let us play in it. But we beat Diablo for the second time. And now we're going to run through this story for a third time. And then, as part of the random to-do list, I fired up Blood Bowl 2 specifically. That is the Games Workshop tabletop football game. It's fun. The problem is that the video game is exactly what the board game is, and so yes, you can interface with it a little easier, but it still has all the clunky mechanics of moving pieces around a board. It's a turn-based strategy football game, really. And it can be fun. It's just there's not really a multiplayer for it. And so the achievement I need to do was intercept an opponent's pass. Okay, well, I tried to set up an internal session with myself. Well, you can't do it in a friendly. It has to be in a league or a campaign match. Okay, well, how can I set this up with just two control? Well, I can't. It wasn't going to work locally, so I needed to set something up independently. Well, I thought maybe I'll give a campaign a shot. Let's just take a look. And of course, I play the dwarf team. So I have a high agility Ratman team, the Skaven, which is the team I play in real life. And so if you're thinking football and you're thinking dwarves, what method of attack do you think that they would? Do you think they're a high octane passing offense team? No. They are a bruiser, grind 'em, power rushing team, per se. I mean, the game's not quite football. It's actually probably more combat than football. But, of course, that team's not going to pass it. So anyway, I played one match against the Dwarves, beat them, and won 3 achievements, kind of just getting things started in that game. And then so before the show tonight, I hooked up with Tarragon, who, of course, has the game because we game share, and we set up a little boosting session where we made the interception happen. And so there's a great guide on trueachievements.com where you set up your player, the opponent player, and then your thrower, and you throw it kind of back and forth with the opponent in the middle. And every time, you have a 17% or a 24% chance or whatever, and you just keep going until somebody gets it. So while that was going on, we said, why don't we just boost a couple other things? And so you can. I hit up 6 quick achievements in that boost. Now I will tell you that matchmaking is pretty much garbage. We found a way to meet up. We both made teams, and you can register for a league. And so what I did is I just typed the word boost, and a league. I think there's like 6 leagues that showed up, and one of them had 0 players in it. Like, great. Tarragon, sign up for that one. I'll sign up for this one. Look, now there's 2 players. We're in a league together, and it automatically sets up a competition. So, all right, let's matchmake. You hit Y, and it says, you will be matchmade in 360 seconds. No idea why you have to wait 6 full minutes to matchmake. I was thinking, it'll count down, but, if it finds a match in between there, great. Okay, so we're waiting. There's chatting about the show, doing whatever. Okay, this is taking too long. Cancel. I'll research. I know you're looking now. Let me hit the search button again. You will be matchmade in 152 seconds. Like, oh my God, it literally is counting down 360 seconds. What is the... You have to be kidding me. Like, there are 2 people searching at the same time, and I have to imagine we're the only 2 people on the planet looking for a Blood Bowl match. Still impatient? Cancel. No, I can't wait. Come on. Let's just research again and see. This is going to work. You will be matchmade in 15 seconds. Are you kidding me? Like, guess what? 15 seconds? Hey, we found an opponent. Oh, it's ZZ Urban Spaceman. Yup, I could have told you that. Great. So we literally had to wait 6 minutes for no reason. I honestly cannot think of why that is the case. But 6 minutes, we match made. And then we boosted the game. You get an achievement for playing a multiplayer opponent. You get an achievement for beating a multiplayer opponent. And one that we set up was, and I just happened to get this one because I played an elf team, and I didn't get any injuries because we didn't hurt each other. So that was nice. But I had him line his guys up on the side of the pitch, and I just pushed 3 of his dudes out of bounds. Well, there was a nice 70 TA. That was great. So I ended up with 6 achievements in tonight's session, 3 achievements from before. So a nice 9er for that one. The long game in that one, not an easy completion. So those of you who are looking for it, but it relatively fun. And if you like Games Workshop, tabletop miniatures, very much in your alley. It was fun. I've also been working on Age of Empires, Castle Siege. I've had now enough people say, no, definitely stay in 4. Now, I will admit, when I am fighting, I'm hitting the please find another opponent like 10 to 12 times before I find anybody who has a crown. But I am getting the occasional 2 or 3 crowns to go after. So that's not so bad, and I'm usually coming away with 1. I think I'm at like 170 now of 2,000. So, yeah, I'm in it for the long haul. Yes, technically it only takes 15 minutes to refresh my troops, but I can't just sit there and watch it for 15 minutes. So I'm going to try and do maybe if I do 3 or 4 a day. Where does that put me? 600 days? No,
so I downloaded this game. Should I play it? Or should I just not?
It's fine.
Is it fine for 600 days, though? I mean...
Well, but your commitment isn't anything obscene. All right, let's say I get 5 crowns a day. 1 year. 367 days if I get 5 crowns a day. Of course, I'm not going to do that. But it's, whatever. I'm just chipping away at it. It's nice. The letter A, I typically have a hard time finding letter A. So, Mitreal B this month, check that off. I got my A because I did end up destroying 40 walls in multiplayer as you go. And you're kind of grinding, you're kind of working toward all this stuff eventually. But if you get 5 crowns a day, it's going to take you a year to do that achievement. And then you have all the ages on top of that, and I mean, this is a long game. This is a very long game, but it's on my phone, and I do not have many games where I can earn achievements while sitting on the toilet. So there is that. I don't have a Windows Phone. I don't want a Windows phone.
Method.
Yeah. And then Titanfall. We had played some Titanfall last night. I just finished up a few. I went off by myself when the session was over, played some hard points, and it just so happened that 2 of the DLC maps, that was all I needed to do, so I got those off the table. I am dangerously close to doing all of the, played all the locations, all game modes on all locations. I think I have 6 more hardpoint games to play, and then that achievement should pop. I think Swampland and that achievement should pop. So I'm down to the last 6 or 7 achievements in Titanfall, which is nice. That's a nice feeling. I'm very much looking forward to wrapping that up, and especially I think M said it in the session is you get that close and to just say I don't need those 2 0-pointers at the end. It's like to put this much work and to not finish it up, that's the real travesty. You absolutely should. Hey, so that was what I was up to this week. Like I said, super busy. Waking up at 4 a.m. yesterday, staying up till 1 a.m. playing Titanfall. Those are long days. So my poor gaming time has dwindled.
I don't understand how you do it,
dude. I'm a machine, man.
I know, it's ridiculous.
You look at
I still can't get up at 7.
You can see me in the webcam, man. I'm like, I mean, yes, granted, I am hepped up on caffeine and sugar, but yeah, this is my life now.
See, you're one of those caffeine guys that can
but I'm not
get affected by caffeine.
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
See, I can drink all the caffeine in the world, nothing.
I don't know. I think I think you'd be
not
dead.
Not even a little. Oh, yeah, okay. After 10 milligrams.
Yeah, I always get, I mean, I could be dead tired at work in the morning or, when I get home or after dinner. At any point, had I chosen to lay down, I would be asleep in seconds. I am teetering on the precipice of narcolepsy, where I am so tired that I could just pass out at any time. However, the adrenaline of holding an Xbox controller in my hands, firing up the console, the rush of getting achievements and playing games, that pushes me to, oh man, yeah, now we're talking. Let's do this. Like, I get real excited, and I look forward to those moments every night. And so, yeah, I have to tell myself before, like tonight, right? We're not going to get done recording till late. And I have to say, look, you know what? You do have to wake up in the morning and go work out. Do not turn on your console. Because if you turn on your console, you're going to want to play for an hour or two. Do not turn it on, finish the podcast, and go to bed, you idiot.
No, skip bed. Just cut it out completely. Don't ever sleep again. Just play Xbox.
So that being said, what am I going to work on this week? So I'm going to show you guys on the webcam here. Obviously you can't see this at home, but this piece of paper I'm holding here, this is my plan for the month. These are the challenges. I've got them listed out in what are my quick achievements, what are my one-nighters, where it takes me maybe 2 to 4 hours to get that random to-do list or achievement I'm looking for. I got a 2-nighter column, and then I have the long game. That's the other. And so my plans for the month is now I have to kind of figure out, okay, so what are we going to do? I got the Blood Bowl one for the quick one, but what I want to do this weekend is tomorrow night I'm going to play some more Destiny. I'm close to getting that seal, so I want to do that. And then over the week, I think the big things that I need to do in terms of random to-do list, level 22, I've got 2 achievements in there I'm going to hunt down this week, I think, and some Boggle grinding. I have to do Boggle.
I want to do Boggle too.
That one's just get to Diamond League, and so I think it should take like 20 games where you literally have the list of words next to you, and you just have to input the words to get that achievement. So it's just a simple matter of time. Now, when I was out east for the funeral, my brother introduced me to a show on CISO. It's the NBC based app, and it is called Harmon Quest. Are you guys familiar with Harmon Quest at all? So, Dan Harmon is...
yes, okay.
You know who Dan Harmon is?
Yeah.
He did Scrubs. He's a writer, producer, Community. Yep. He's funny. I very much like his comedic stylings. Anyway, he is a fan of Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, Rick and Morty as well. Fan of Dungeons and Dragons. And so he will go and do like a comedic show. And then after the show, he will, with the community, play Dungeons and Dragons. And so he decided, hey, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. We're going to engage the crowd and we'll have, some of my friends and then let somebody do it. Well, they met this guy named Spencer, who is a remarkably gifted dungeon master. And those of you who are not familiar with D&D, the dungeon master is the godlike character who gets to essentially make up the rules as he goes and create a story with which the other characters play through. So this Spencer character takes it very seriously, but he also does a very good job of creating a nice cohesive story, and it's cool. So Spencer, the dungeon master, then does the game. A live game for Dan Harmon, 2 of his, friends that are on the show all the time, and then a celebrity guest. So you can watch the first episode for free. The special guest is Paul F. Tompkins. I don't know if you know him, but another comedian. And what they do is while they're doing the show, like they'll record the session. And they're up on a stage, right? So there's some crowd interaction. You hear laughing, clapping, whatever. They're on stage. They'll record the whole thing, and then they'll take it back and animate the events that happened. And so you have this. So if you've ever watched the show Drunk History, right? There's an interview, and the person's telling a story about history while completely wasted. And so they'll slur words like, and then like Lincoln, man, he was all like, dude, what are you doing here? And so the actor, dressed up in traditional, Civil War era clothes, will then mouth the words, dude, what are you doing here? Like a total drunk person, but he's presenting himself in a very serious presidential way, right? So the dichotomy of seeing that is just brilliant. And so you see a lot of that in the animation because obviously you can match up perfectly the animation to what the voice is. And so when when the character, I'll paint a scene for you here. Dan Harmon is talking about his character's backstory. He says, "Well, here's this is my goblin friend down here," and the goblin guy goes, "Well, yeah, I just want to say, guys, I lost my dad. He died, and so I'm an orphan. I've been traveling around. Actually, Dan, your guy, your father died too, right?" And, the animated character looks up at him, and then Dan's character kind of has a sad face, and he goes, "Well, I mean, yeah, that's my backstory, but I'm usually the one who tells my story." And so there's like a laugh, and they play that into the animation. It is hilarious. So now I am very much wanting to do the 7-day trial of CISO so I can watch the entire season, where in each episode they kill whoever the celebrity guest is and bring on somebody new. And so I don't remember how many episodes are in there, but I think that's a good Boggle. Like, I can watch it on my computer and then play Boggle at the same time, and so I can listen, watch. We'll see. That's my plan. I need a good boosting game like that. And so Boggle aside, the other thing is it's Telltale month. And so this month, I want to finish The Wolf Among Us. I did the first episode. And I want to finish Tales from the Borderland. I did for the first episode. It's like those two are just sitting there like good stories. Of course, Tales from the Borderland, better story. Yeah. But man, I got to sit down and just do them. Now, the problem is that's 8 nights for me. Really, I can do 1 episode a night unless I really buckle down on a weekend and maybe chip off 2 of them. But weekend gaming, that's some other stuff. So that's my long-winded plan, guys. I have my sheet here. There, you can hear it on the mic.
He is holding a sheet. It's blank, but it's a sheet.
What are you? Yeah, you can't see it. I didn't write it in Sharpie or anything. It's in pen. What kind of animal do you think I am? What are you up to this week, Proulx?
Lots of random to-do list stuff. I'm not really sure which stuff I'm going to go for. I'm going to keep working on the Halo 4 challenges, unfortunately. I'm going to keep working on Lego's Marvel Avengers. I'm sure I'll pick up something this weekend to make up for the fact that next week not only will I not be here, but I will actually be across the country for a bachelor party. I'm going to have my very own version of the real life Hangover, doing a bachelor party in Vegas. So we'll see how.
Hey, are you playing Halo 4? That's on 360?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have an achievement to win 5 games that I heart Red versus Blue.
Okay.
Is that something we can boost, or is there still too many people on there that I should just go into team games and try and get on a winning team?
You have to win 5 game of any type?
War games, I think.
Yeah, so any war game types. I mean, I'll play with you if you want, because I'll be playing all week. But it's you can just hop into any game mode and you'll eventually. I mean, 5 games is not long. Even if you're terrible, you'll eventually get matched up with good people. But
will I though? I mean, I have to think that anyone who's left over there is serious about playing and maybe has some buddies in a group that they're playing. And so the one random guy queues up, and it's like, I don't give a crap about Halo multiplayer.
It has not been my experience that that's the case. But if you're worried, I'll definitely jump in with you, and we can get 5 games done in like half an hour.
That has been my experience, because I remember I had a Halo 4 multiplayer achievement, and I was like, this will be easy. All I have to do is like get to the first rank or whatever, rank 5 or whatever, enough XP to do that, and I got absolutely obliterated. Like, because I don't know where all the power weapons are, I don't know the map layouts, I don't know any of that, and so it's like, derp, I'm just gonna walk around. Hey, I got my DMR, let's just go shoot stuff. Nope, snipe. Oh, pistol whipped. Oh, yep, nope, here you go, grenade face. Like, and it was not fun. It was not a good experience. So, yeah, Proulx, maybe I'll have a better experience if I have a Sherpa like you helping me at least cursory understand the game.
I can't promise you that we'll win every game, but I've been playing it enough now at this point where it's just like, I can hop in and probably get you a good 5 games is nothing. I mean, that's I can almost guarantee you we'll win that in like less than 8 games.
Ooh, all right. I was just going to say 10. I'd be happy with a 50% win rate. I mean, almost that's That would then indicate randomness versus me being a total detriment to the team.
Yeah, one of the challenges I'm going for, the monthly challenge, is win 30 matches in the month. And I've been working for 3 or 4 days now. I'm almost at 10. I think I'm at 9. And I've probably only played 12 matches. So it's not hard. And I'm just matching up with random people depending on what challenge I need to get for that day. So I'll be playing it every day and I'll be around. So let me know when you want to play and I'll hop on and we can do it.
Let's do it.
Other than that, I am going to clean up Left 4 Dead so I can get ready for Left 4 Dead 2, and then probably just some random stuff. So that's what I'm doing this week.
Nice. What are you, Randy?
I'm going to see how much Oblivion I can get done this week.
Woohoo!
That's my big goal, and making money on RuneScape. That's my other thing. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Next on my random to-do list after Oblivion, though, is Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, which is one of those games like Oblivion that's been on my tag for a very, very long time and should really just get done. So hoping I can use that as motivation.
Sounds delightful. Hey, Randy, what do we got for Knobs and Discos, our home for unobtainable and discontinued achievements?
We got a couple this week. Unobtainable in Too Dark, the achievement called Greedy for getting all of the collectibles is unobtainable. So somebody went through and got them all and did not get the achievement. And the
bummer.
achievement Memories from NBA 2K17 has been fixed.
Woohoo!
So that is not unobtainable anymore. So 50-50 this week.
We should have that sounder from, and I'm sure there's a copyright, so we can't, but that sounder from The Price is Right, when you fail, the bwomp, bwomp, bwomp. That's what, whenever we get a new knob, that's what we should play. Where I'd say, hey, we got another unobtainable, bwomp, bwomp, bwomp.
So what do we get when one becomes available again?
Achievement Unlock sound?
No, that's a little overused, don't you think?
Your face is overused.
I mean, we could have like the excited prices, right?
I was going to see what noise is that though? I can't remember.
Is it the yodeling guy?
Wait, is that on Prices Right?
Yeah, remember the yodel, and you got to like tell him to stop before he like falls off the edge of the cliff, and you're trying to go as close to the top as you can by guessing the prices. You don't remember that yodel dude?
No.
I don't know what he's talking about either.
Are you kidding me, you guys?
Are you sure this is the same Price is Right that you're watching?
Listeners, I know you're frustrated with how dumb Proulx and Randy are. Don't take it out on the show. They don't watch enough Price is Right. You all know who, I think it's called Cliff Diver. Cliff jump, the Cliff Mountaineer.
I think he's making it up.
He's like that Ricola dude, right? Where he's got like the red stocking cap, with the little palm on the top, and he's like wearing like a flannel shirt with a pickaxe. Yeah, and he yodels all the way up the hill until you overguess, and he plummets to his death. I don't think they graphically show his death, but he certainly does fall over the edge. Yeah, that's like a staple. Even I'm sure it's on Drew Carey's version, but man, Bob Barker, they had that all the time.
Price is Wrong, Bob.
Yeah. Hey, and there's that new, you guys see commercial for that new Love Connection show with Andy Cohen? That Andy Cohen, man, he is all over the place. That dude, he's like on TV everywhere. But anyway, yeah, they're bringing it back. They're bringing Match Game's coming back, or is back, with Alec Baldwin as the host. It's like they're just like what age group now is? I mean, are they so old? Like, has all of the very old people now like finally got cable, and so they're like, hey, we should just bring back all this terrible TV from the 70s.
People are the only people that have cable at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that why? Is that what they're trying to do? Like, hey, please don't cut the cord on us. We need you. Remember these shows you used to like? That's what we're giving you.
Yeah, bring them back.
Yeah.
Please, please. Anyway, hey, I think that'll do it for the show, guys. Why don't you guys sign out, and I will come back with some zombie news action. So let's wrap up this segment of the show. Proulx, Why don't you give them your tip of the cap, nod of the salute to the crowd. Let's hear it.
Sure. Hey, you can find me on Twitter if you want to talk to me about any of this stuff. My handle there is OneUpDan. That's the number one, not the word.
Randy?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter if you want to disagree with me. I'm happy to disagree with you on Twitter or rain on whatever it is you want to be rained on about at Randy2727.
Both of those Twitter accounts should get linked with a video of the mountain climber guy from Price is Right. I want every single person to spam their Twitter with images of that. And go ahead.
Convinced
you can attach me at Freamhole, FREAMWHOLE. I would love to see those as well. You all know what I'm talking about. Come on. Price is Right, man. And if you guys want to do any Destiny, Iron Banner, when this releases, Iron Banner will have just started. So, hey, I'm down for some Iron Banner. If you guys want to get in and get some nice legendary gear going, that will help, get me up to max level, help you get up there. We can do more raids, whatnot. I'll be in Destiny. And then any other multiplayer stuff that I'm doing? Oh, Halo 4 with Proulx. So if you see me next week in Halo 4, we can play that. Other than that, man, I don't think I have anything else going on. So let's head off with this section and come back with some zombie news, the outro, and our contest roundup. See you guys later.
Bye.
See ya.
Better off Zed.
All right, it's zombie news time, everyone. I've got just a little one right here. If you like those animated Resident Evil movies, well, then you'll be delighted to know that Resident Evil Vendetta is coming out here in the near future. It is going to release in Japan on May 27th. Of course, that's a little more challenging to see, but for those of us in North America, apparently they're going to have on June 19th a one-night theatrical showing of Resident Evil Vendetta. The movie then you can also get on digital, like digital retailers and stuff after that on June 20th. And then DVD looks like July 18th. What it's about, the story, it's set between the events of Resident Evil 6 and 7. It stars Chris Redfield, and he helps out Leon Kennedy. The trailer, the little clip that they showed was a little gun kata, where the Chris and Leon are doing the super fancy fun pistol work, shooting zombies in the head and stuff. It's got that cool really high cinematic animation. So there you go, guys. The new zombie movie that's out there, Resident Evil series, progressing that deep lure in the world. I don't know how this ties to Resident Evil 7 at all, if it does, or this just completely independent story. But if you're interested, go catch the theatrical release, or you can wait for the DVD. So I think that's about it for the show, guys. So I think we'll just wrap this thing up now. I'm so happy that you guys joined us and listened. I appreciate it. It's been wonderful. We so much enjoyed recording it. And if you as a listener wanted to help us out, please give us a rating on iTunes or wherever you listen to this podcast. That is super helpful. We'd really, really appreciate it. Help spread the word. Our website, z2z.com. You can find show notes, credits, links to things that we've talked about. And there are so many ways to reach us. Of course, Twitter is one of the best, at ZZZEDTOZED, and email contact@z2z.com. By far the best two spots to do it. And I want to thank everyone that helped make this show possible. So, on behalf of Crandy and Proulx, this has been Brandon, and to all you achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies out there, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next episode. All right, it's community roundup time. Just a quick rundown of all the events and things that are going on in the world that is Z2Z. Of course, you can always find them by going to our forums, forum.z2z.com. Simply do a little search for active. Just type in the word active, and that'll pull up all active contests in the Z2Z forums. The random to-do list, always active, always exciting. Each month, you get a brand new 25 achievements. I've gotten 3, I think. 2, 3. I think I'm at 3. Chipping away at a bunch of them, though. So hopefully I can get that total to come up. I'm really excited for some of the games on my list. Some of the ones I'm not so excited about. But, hey, it is what it is. None of those, I do believe, though, are crossover games for our May community challenge, which is the Telltale month. And now these are the Telltale story games, not any of their published games. So like 7 Days to Die or Poker Night or whatever. It's these story-based games, the point and clicks. So I know a ton of people have been posting in the forums with all of their backlog of things that they've unlocked. So that's one of the easiest ways to do it. Things that you've already completed, get credit for them. If you've already played The Walking Dead Season 1 on 360, you get 10 points right there. If you stacked it on the 1, 20 points. Any of them that you do start this month, though, you need to finish as many of the chapters that have come out. So, Guardians of the Galaxy, not quite done yet, but, you got to get all the way through what will be released by March 31st. And then the Gamertag Challenge this month is Mitrialb, Mitrialb. It is Tim Blair backwards. So short list this week, a couple nice letters in the mix there. Eyes can be tricky, so good luck on those. I am doing what I can. I have like 3 of them down. Anyway, shouldn't be too much of a problem. There's plenty of crossover from the random to-do list, so that's looking nice. And then the M. Surin's overly convoluted achievement spectacular. The MOCAS for May is the Forces of May. Of course, May the 4th was Star Wars Day, and so this is a Star Wars-related month-long achievement, and it simply asks that any achievement you earn in the month of May, the words that are within there can be used to fulfill any of the words in the Star Wars crawls. So Spanky and Spronkle actually put together a really great word-by-word breakdown of all 7 episodes that have the intro crawl, and you can sort those by word, by letter, whatever, and go and apply your achievements to that, so that each one you unlock gets you an entry into the raffle for fabulous prizes. And then, so make sure you do that. Take a look at it. A link in the forum body of that actual, the May MOCAS topic header there. Just click on that, and you can have a usable list. You can download the spreadsheet, whatever, all sorts of great stuff. So thanks to Spanky and Spronkle for that, and thank you, M. Surin, for hosting these monthly contests. They are great. I am still calculating the Gamerscore Agories achievement things, so bear with me on those. It's going to take some time because those are significant. And then finally, the one last thing I want to mention is GTASC. We had a few eliminations. Let's start with the teams. We're down to 90 teams left. You're in the top 100 teams, right? Well, it's still like 500 people. It's 450 people. But we did lose 5 well-known teammates that known to the achievement hunting community, and that is the team with no name. Yes, True Achievement himself, Jack, WebChimp UK, that boy Treasy, Clever Jake, and Dave Kinetic. That 5-man squad is dead skis. They were eliminated back in period 17, so adios, amigos. As the individual, we had a couple of losses this week. Buck Marley and Spanky and Spronkle both bowed out at week 17 or period 17. And Saucy Slingo, near miss on that one. But you're still alive, so good luck. We are down to 293 individuals. So that's a much smaller pool than the teams, but of course, just as cutthroat. So there you go, guys. Anything else? Any other contests? Keep your eyes on the TA forums. I had mentioned something. Well, that got postponed, so we're working on that. keep looking out in the near future for that one. And then, of course, discord.me/Z2Z, our Discord chat. There's a ton of LFG sites looking for group, looking for gamers, looking to boost some things. So if there's a game out there you're interested in getting achievements in, work with our community, it would be our pleasure to find and try and set up some times individually through there. Of course, TA boosting sessions work, but it's so much more personal when you talk with some, people in the community. You can set things up and what works on your schedule versus throwing out a line and hoping that you don't get some randoms who have no idea what they're doing. So there you have it, guys. Community roundup for the second week in May. Good luck to you that are all out there working on these different contests. I have so much fun hosting them and participating, so I hope you do too. And with that, I'm signing off. We'll catch you guys later.